So in the state, we're the only community college that's going to be part of this program, along with, let's see, University of New Mexico Valencia campus is going to also participate. So we have a state-guided team that's going to work with our financial aid division, our enrollment teams, our adult ed teams. And when we think about what is this going to do for our students' success, well, again, it's again access to federal student aid, but also it gives those students on some of our other bridge pathways, such as IET for workforce, additional access to funding. So this is a really exciting project that's going to develop in the next year, and it's going to involve all of our divisions. So I'm looking forward to that, and I have no doubt we'll have success in that area. Other things happening as you go down the report. Of course, Dr. Moss mentioned the ISC presentation for HLC, and that's our road to get off probation and with HLC, and just talk a little bit about that timeline. From Dr. Edwards' notes, there should be a decision by December 18th. So we should be getting a draft soon, and HLC Board of Trustees will weigh in on the site visit in the IAC. I'm sorry, I said ISC a minute ago. The IAC's recommendations, and they'll make a final determination February 26th. And I just can't say thank you enough to all our teams that helped put all this together and all the work that went into this HLC project, because if we hadn't had that commitment from our teams, it would be a different story, I think. So many thanks to our instructors and staff members for that. Of course, you mentioned the success of our nursing cohort, 11 students pinned. That's a total of 22 students that are nurses in the state of New Mexico this year, so entering the workforce. So that's wonderful, and hopefully they stay here and invest their training here in this region. That's our hope. As far as other successes, I've got Mr. Dean Garcia, our adult ed director, and I was going to give him the floor to talk a little bit about the success of the adult ed program and some of the work that's being done in that area.
Good afternoon, board, people in attendance. I just wanted to go over a little bit about the review of this first semester in the Educational Services Center in our adult ed program, just to go over some of the things that we've been working on and things we've been doing this semester. We had a really busy semester. Listed in the board report there, I'll go over some of the things. Test proctoring. We're always really busy during finals, so we totaled them up and we proctored 104 exams the last 2 weeks in our test center. And those were in biology, nursing, math, history, criminal justice, and early childhood. So we had a lot of students come in and complete their finals with us. The exam cram, which is something we did 2 weeks ago in coordination with Mr. Simon Chavez. That's like a last minute opportunity for students to come in, get help finishing up their coursework, wrapping up everything. So we coordinated with Simon on that, and we purchased snacks, drinks, pizza for that event, and that was really well attended as well. A little bit about our honors college. We had our poster presentation last Tuesday, and we had 4 students that participated in that. And they all got up and gave like their little presentations and presented their posters and their research. And that went really well. And Mr. Primrose talked about the nurses pinning on Saturday. We actually had one of the nurses complete our honors college, so she became a graduate of the honors college, and she was the first nursing student to do that. So I presented her with a medal and certificate on Saturday during the pinning. A little bit about our adult ed and what we've been doing in there. Classes went really well this semester for HSE, ELL, which is English Language Learning, which is like a new way to say ESL. ELL and ESL are basically the same thing. But as of last week, we had 16 students that were enrolled in our high school equivalency class here locally. And then we had 4 that are enrolled through our Clayton class, and they do online with us. Our ELL class, we have 17 students that participated this semester. And 3 of those 17 are actually doing high school equivalency with us right now. We've had 9 high school equivalency graduates so far as of July 1st. One of those was a ELL student, so she's actually doing ELL and got her high school equivalency. And we're just waiting on some test scores for a couple others, so we may have some more graduates maybe by the end of the week. Last year we had 21, this year we're trying to get at least 24, but we're at 9 as of today. Just talking some more about the high school equivalency tests. Nikki Vasquez, she's our test administrator for that. She's been working really closely with Kylie Vaughn, who works with me in the ESC. And they've been getting a lot of tests set up and proctored now for December. We're trying to get as many in as we can. Trying to get people to pass so we can hopefully turn around and enroll them in Mesalands in January. But as of today, we've proctored, Nikki's proctored 31 high school equivalency tests just this month, with 2 more set up for tomorrow. So it's been a really busy month as far as getting people tested. We have like 5 or 6 students right now that have completed 4 out of the 5 tests, so we're just waiting to get 1 more with them. So I think our numbers will jump up pretty fast here soon. Yesterday, our adult ed program received additional money, grant money from HED. We got an additional $12,049 from them, just in an additional grant, and we can use that money the second half of this fiscal year, and we can use that to be used primarily towards instruction and adult ed. So we plan on using it for like the ELL class instruction and possibly some IET course instruction there as well. And then one of our IET students that we did in CNA last spring, Ana Ortega, she was being featured by HED in their ask for additional funding in the next legislative session in 2026. They had reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked if we had a student that we wanting to share some information with them. So Ana shared her information, and they put her in all their paperwork that they sent out to all the legislators asking for additional funding. So we took that as a big honor, as one of our students was to be featured in that. And she completed her CNA coursework last spring, and then she's going to be one of our new nursing students. I'm not sure if she's starting this spring or next fall. So we're really proud of Ana and all that she's done with us. She actually started as an ELL student with us many years ago, so she's come a long way. But other than that, that pretty much wraps up my report for our first semester. Been really busy, and we're looking forward to a busy spring as well. I'll take any questions if you have any at this time.
Questions for Mr. Garcia? Good report.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
you're welcome.
Appreciate all
Yeah,
the work you
yeah,
do.
no problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dean. Dean is very modest about the work that they do over in the adult ed area, and especially with the work that's done with our librarian, Nikki. I encourage you all to come by during a day during finals week and just look at all the activity, the study sessions, the support, and that's, in many cases, that's the heart of the college on both sides, because you have an entry point for new students that go through GED testing or HiSET testing. You have your adult ed learners, and then we have the support for our degree-seeking students, and that's all happening right there in the library. So much activity. Thank you, Dean, for that. I wanted to highlight the work that Ms. Enriquez, our Associate Dean of Academic Services, is performing. And it leads us to actually a purchase requisition request that's going to come through today, and hopefully the board's going to be approving. And before I turn it over to Kim, I just want to state that I'm a Peterbilt truck guy, and I understand there's going to be some concerns going forward with this, but I wanted to give Kim a platform to talk about how this purchase will benefit the college, the community, our students, to give you guys a little more info on how this process develops. So, thank you, Kim.
Good afternoon, members of the board. So we're real excited to purchase this truck via your approval. We have a lot of students in this area that are calling, wanting to do truck driving. It's a very lucrative job, and I feel like we can really help the community with the way we can have it set up. If we purchase this truck, we can have 4 students in the truck at one time. So we're wanting to have a full-time instructor and maybe a helper, so I can have 4 in the truck and then 4 in the classroom. So we can run 8 students every 6 weeks. So that's our goal. We're wanting to start March 17th, I believe it is. This company, Inland Kenworth, can have the truck to their shop the end of January, and then they'll pull the sleeper part, the bed part out, and put jump seats in it so people can sit back there. So they're not just sitting on a bed, they're DOT approved seats. So they can have that to us possibly by the end of February, so we said kind of like the middle of March. I do agree with Joel. I am a Peterbilt person. I grew up with my dad driving truck, and it's Peterbilt, but I was outvoted. So this truck is a T680. It's a 72-inch high top with the following, and we bought it for the following reasons. We can get the seats put in the back. It came with, they offered us extended warranties. It has a Cummins engine, and they told us that's better than the proprietary Kenworth engine, and we're able to get it serviced after warranty. We can service it with warranty in Amarillo or Albuquerque at any Cummins dealer. After that, we can take it to John's Truck Service. So if we had a proprietary engine, we couldn't do that after the warranty. We'd still have to find a Kenworth dealer. So we looked at that. It's the standard type of tractor that's good on the road with students. It's not a high utility truck. I had to learn the difference between that. I thought semis were semis, but they're not. So this one is good. It's the same truck that San Juan College just purchased 3 of not long ago. They also gave us an additional $10,000 discount, where the same truck a year younger was $236 and this is $205. So we did get a pretty good deal with them. And then I gave you the additional quotes we did for 2026. Peterbilt was $220, and a 2025 Mack was $202. However, we still would have to pay to get the seats put in, and those run about $12,000. So I was really pleased with my advisory board. We had seasoned truck drivers. Dale Stahl, he's a owner. He's had it 50 years in business driving cattle. Tammy Husman, she's driven for 30 years. Matt Klinger, I couldn't tell you exactly how long he's driven, but he drives a school bus, so he doesn't have the Class A, it's for the passengers. And then Ruben Rincones, he's on our staff. Chris Dugan, our business instructor, and Brian Hughes has the CDL. So we've taken everybody's knowledge, which I feel like almost 100 years of knowledge sitting in the room with me. So it was nice, and I think they came to a really good decision.
Any questions for this?
That's a good job.
Then you're home.
This is very true, very true. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve this purchase of a Kenworth semi-truck.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of the Kenworth, not Peterbilt truck.
I'll second it.
Had a motion and a second, purchase this. Roll call, please.
Mr. Burrows?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
Mr. Box?
Yes.
And Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
Thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
You through with your report, Jim?
You know, I could talk more, but I just appreciate our teams and all the work that's going into these projects, and I do believe this CDL training is gonna open doors to diesel mechanics. It's gonna change the way we approach trades at the school. And from that, I think we're gonna be able to be, in the next year, be talking about, again, we talk about the jobs. We're training these students to go into the workplace, go into industry, and I think we're gonna see that double with CDL and even with the diesel repair. I think that's the way to go, so.
I agree. There's lots of trucks on the highway.
Yeah, when we
Any
used to
questions?
have the diesel shop here, they had a contract with Cummins in Albuquerque. They would hire our students to work on the trucks.
And we're having similar conversations with some of these, the Kenworth partner that we're going with, where we might be able to see apprenticeships or job placement coming out of this, so. I think that's gonna be really spectacular for our students.
Any other questions? Appreciate all you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you survive the end of the year. Next is student services. Mr. McVeigh.
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chair. A few things that I'd like to highlight from the report that you have before you. We have spring registration that's been going on and registering in person at correctional facilities. So Ms. Chantel Lujan and Jessica Gonzalez have been traveling to the correctional facilities and being able to register students in person, which really is beneficial for the students, making a big difference in communication. It also helps to build rapport and relationships with those educational counselors that are there working with the students on site. Financial aid is open. Application now can be processed for 26-27. So students are filling out their FAFSAs for the next year. We continue with professional development. Jessica Gonzalez was nominated for president of NMASFAA. Sorry, it's really long. It's a long acronym, but basically it's a financial aid organization that works here in the state of New Mexico, and she was nominated for a position of president over that. Also recently, myself, I have joined as a member of the board for United Way, representing Quay County as well, and being involved there. We've got a lot of activities that have been going on with student life that we're proud of, and benefiting the students and building community, but also in encouraging academic excellence. We continue to look for a recruiter. We're continuing to conduct interviews to hire someone as a recruiter. We have hired a receptionist, and so we're very excited about that as well. Marketing report, we are very excited about some things that are happening in marketing. As you can see there, we surpassed October's total regarding our website. So basically it jumped more than 50%, increased 50% from October's. So those numbers have been increasing. We've also seen our social media channels continue to help strengthen our online position. We've had 22,000 views across platforms last month. It's a little bit less in October, but if you consider that we didn't have, October had a rodeo, so it's a little more exciting on social media for the views there. But we're still doing very well and trending, we're moving in a good direction. November was an excellent month for Meta. We saw a 340% increase in interactions from non-followers. So those are those that are non-followers. So that's a great increase there as well. A lot of new viewers and interactions, not just seeing, but interacting, indicating that we're on the right track with our online strategy for marketing. We organized a interactive presentation to Tucumcari High School, and this is something that we want to do on a regular basis moving into the spring semester, and continue to have this on a yearly basis. But we had faculty visit the high school, have a presentation. Wind energy was the focus. They had little turbines that they constructed and put together, and they gave more information about our programs. We had 19 students that filled out information cards from Tucumcari High School. So that's a good start in that direction with those students. Our Google Ads are doing very well. We're ramping those up and increasing more Google Ads. Again, a lot of online advertising, which is more efficient. It's costs less, but you reach more and you can verify what it is accomplishing. So looking ahead, you can see Collegio, which Collegio is a AI-driven recruiting tool. Basically, it's similar to speaking to an advisor, where you can actually ask questions, and the artificial intelligence has communication with the students. So in the past, we call it the legacy model, has been niche.com, which is very popular for students to look up information about colleges and universities. However, Collegio is a new model looking at utilizing artificial intelligence to have communication with students. A lot of the positives that are involved, one of them is that students can ask questions if they feel uncomfortable. Maybe they're first in the family to consider going to college, but a lot of times those students may be intimidated to ask questions about college or university. So this provides them that opportunity. They can have a conversation with the AI and asking questions about colleges, universities, their interests, what they think they'd be interested in doing. And so they can feel more comfortable having that conversation with that AI intelligence, and helps them to find the best school for them. What's unique about us, of course, is everything. And so that also provides us with the opportunity to find areas that students are looking for that maybe across the nation we might have a hard time connecting with at random. But with Collegio, and Collegio is also on social media, it has partnerships with high schools across the nation, and so it's presenting itself before students, and they fill out the information, ask questions, and have conversations. But that also gives insight into the students' interests and what they would be interested in pursuing for a career. So then you might have a student that is in New York, wants paleontology, but's never thought about looking way out west or southwest, and Collegio says, hey, there's an incredible school with actual dig sites that you can go to and start digging in the first year that would connect to that student because of our unique program. So along with silversmithing, wind energy, technology, renewables, things like that will connect us. So that's a lot of information, but simply to say that the AI technology we're really excited about. They also give us a guarantee of at least 12 students matriculating within the period of the contract. And so, and if we don't have them matriculate, they continue to work with us until they hit that number of 12. And so also there could be far more than 12, but that's at least a guarantee. They also want to take this opportunity, since they are newer in the market with a newer technology, they want to take the opportunity to use us as a case study. So we were able to secure better pricing to also be a case study that they can utilize. So they're going to be working with us and building our profile so that we can connect with more students effectively through the AI. So that's just one. Then we go into Composely, which helps us write, and the writing is done so that the experts are able to lock in with the Google algorithms so that our branding and writing guidelines that they use, they will help us to revamp our content on our website to improve our rankings in search engines and have better visibility through that. So we have started a agreement with Composely. We're going to do more presentations, like I said, with the high schools and multi-channel online advertisements as we continue to move forward. We're also utilizing some more of HubSpot in our recruiting. The last thing I want to highlight with our marketing is that with going to Tucson High School, those 19 students whose information were collected, we developed a connection, a spreadsheet essentially, that then assigns them to different faculty, and then the faculty take information on the student and they take notes. And so all of them are able to view the same document and be able to see what communication is being done with each student in the area of interest that they have shown. And so we're able to utilize that and then funnel that into our CRM, which is HubSpot, to help us with our recruiting efforts. And so we're really working hard to be more efficient in our recruiting and to be more successful in gaining the interests of students, but then helping them to become students at Mesalands and then ultimately becoming successful. So I stand for questions if y'all have any.
Any questions?
I
Jimmy?
have one. I like what you said about working with the high school students. Because that's something I wanted to do, is to work with them and to help them. Like Dr. Berry used to help them, but the superintendent that was there, he was all right, but he wasn't that good.
This has been a great opportunity for us to move into the high school, just as you said, and to be able to build those relationships with students.
The students,
And providing services to, to these students as well that might help them, whether it's with resumes or applications or knowing, what's the next step in not just college, but in training for a career. Because again, we don't just have academic programs, we also have workforce. And as we all know, Impact Wind and our partnership with that industry partner, they go right into the workforce, and they can do that within as little as 8 weeks. So again, exciting opportunities there.
because Dr. Berry tried to work with the people in Albuquerque, but they, it's a borderline, I guess,
Sure.
where the Albuquerque is and where we are. They never mentioned Tucumcari, now there's some kind of problem.
So our goal is to start small in our area and really be able to develop this area and build outward. And of course, you'll have word of mouth and you'll have success stories, and we'll be able to show the value of this. And I think that we'll be able to build outward. And one day it could include Albuquerque, and they invite us in.
Yeah, a little at a time, yeah.
Keep the locals low here.
That's right.
Any other questions for Mr. McVeigh?
Well, one more.
Yes, sir.
What about the band teachers? Can you help them get a band teacher here in high school?
I'm not sure about that. I don't have resources for that specifically. I can't.
Because I hate to go to a football game, there's no band or no nothing.
That's
Oh, yeah, no.
Glad to see AI is working for us.
It's working, yes, for us, not just against us. Thank you.
Thanks so much, appreciate all that you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next is Miss Aria.
Afternoon, board members. Okay, so here is our financial report for utilizing the numbers from the end of November. So our total cash balance from all accounts, less any outstanding checks that haven't cleared, unless outstanding invoices that are pending to be processed, gives us a total of $3,240,127.85. That's not including our CDs that we also have. Then you have the list of all the checks that are outstanding right now that haven't cleared, which is the $54,533.48. And then the outstanding invoices that are currently in process. Again, this was as of the end of November. It's $10,233.29. And then the very last couple pages is a total of all the checks that we have cut for the whole month of November.
All right, and you said you updated the CDs with
I did.
interest.
I did. I was able to finally get those statements. The only one now is everyone's. It was supposed to mature in July. I've reached out to the bank and I haven't received a call back because I do have a statement that's from July through the end of September and there's no interest posted on it. So depending on what they say, then may have to come before the board to move that one out as well.
Any questions for Ms. Arias?
We've been asked, to get some funds in this ING fund balance. Where do we get those funds from? Can we take this money that we're talking about, buying some new CDs and put in there to get some money in there to try to make them happy a little bit, or how do we get the funds
So
into that
it
account?
has to be amounts that are left over in those specific funds. Basically, they have like a cash reserve. Until we finish the fiscal year 25 audit, I won't know where we stand because I have to do adjusting journal entries for fiscal year 24 and it will affect those fund balances, so I won't know anything until that's done. And then we can look at where, because according to what HED says, that we can move the balances out of other funds and move it up into ING, but I don't want to touch anything until we're completely done with 25, and then we'll know right where we're at. But a CD, no, will not do it because that they count that separately.
It just seems as they're hollering at us about that, but yeah, we're building some reserves and funds. You look at our overall financials, but they're hung up on that one.
Right.
The ING.
Yeah, ING.
And to have the requirement is 3%.
Right.
That would not be very much money.
Right.
150,000. We could show that, but they hopefully whenever we get our journal entries from 24 and then get 25, we'll show that. But it's like I said, we're only required to have a small amount of money, which we have in the bank.
Right. Exactly.
Any other questions for Ms. Arias? No?
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. All you do. We've got action. I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
I shall move. Second?
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Primrose?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Box?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
Next is Mr. Martinez, Executive Director of Operations.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Have some exciting updates. Finally, it seems like usually this time of the year, getting close for the holiday season, everything's almost at a standstill, but for some reason we've been lucky enough to start tying up some loose ends on some of these projects. So first I'll give an update on the insurance work on Building E, the wind energy building. It's nearly complete. The last meeting I had with the main lead, the project manager for the company, he stated he expected for all of the work in Building E to be completed by January. They're going to come in over our holiday break. They have access to our building and they're able to get a few of the last little punch list items done. Again, this has included the roof, which has been done for some time now. We also had all the metal paneling that went up in the Bay Area. That's completely been installed. We've also had the electrician come down, rewire some of the light fixtures, redo the sheetrock work in the restroom. I mean, pretty much everything's almost done at this point. They just lack small few items to complete that. As far as the roofs with the other buildings, can't remember if I had mentioned this last meeting, but had the opportunity to walk through with one of the contractors and go on top of the roof of this building, Building G, as well as Building A, which is over the library. And those bids are being turned in to the insurance adjuster. And if all goes well, they expect to start on those roofs once it warms up a little bit. Some of those materials are temperature sensitive, and that's the reason they're not able to start in the winter, which ironically we have had a mild winter so far. I guess I don't know if we're officially in winter till next week, but either way, we're still experiencing some good temperatures. So for some reason, we continue on this trend. Maybe they can start sooner, but they're expecting probably realistically around March. The rodeo truck, that had been in the shop for some time now with some hail damage, wind damage repair. We finally got all of that situated with the insurance. Everything's good to go. The truck's ready for pickup. I believe the check was cut today or yesterday, and they will be picking up the truck more than likely probably on Thursday. So that's finally completed. That's another project to be. I'm glad that's finally almost complete. The other thing that's been really busy around this time of the year is working on a request for the legislative session coming up in January. With that, we're part of the higher ed's package of the bill, if you would, where HED goes in for all the higher education requests for the year and recommends that up to the legislative session. Through that, we have two projects that were recommended for approval from HED. One of them is for the repower of the wind turbine, and then the second was for the $750,000 for the heating and cooling improvements to Building D, which is the Fine Arts and Farrier Science Building. With that, as Mr. Primrose said earlier, we have a lot of support from our local legislators. I know Representative Chatfield mentioned in today's legislative forum about wanting to see that funded to repower that wind turbine. So I'll be working with them closely now in between the session and during the session to make sure that our priorities are laid out exactly how we want them. If they have any questions specific to the projects, funding amounts, whatnot, I could be able to provide them with that information. And we also submitted 2 additional requests to our local legislators, to Senator Woods and Representative Chatfield, and also I'll make sure that that message gets relayed to Senator Campos as well for purchases of vehicles that we need for Mesalands Community College. We are in the need of a large SUV as well as a truck for our maintenance staff. Right now they're operating out of a 1980s model Suburban. It's just time to get with the times, I guess, and improve some of those things on campus. Another thing that was discussed today that we're working on is the opportunity to receive some kind of state funds for student housing. Right now through HED, we're not eligible through capital outlay to get student housing funded. So behind the scenes, we're talking on some things to either change some legislation or get creative to try to help fund some student housing here at Mesalands. Another thing that we have been working on extensively is getting the procurement situated for the CEL program. With that truck, I think Kim and your advisory committee or board, whatever you call them, that they had everything laid out, ready to go. This was actually simple. Usually procurement can be tricky and be drug out for weeks, if not months. We will be purchasing that through CES. I'm happy to announce, while I was listening on the meeting right now, we have the purchase order ready to go. It's been created. The next step will be to forward that on to CES. They issue their own purchase order to the vendor, and if all goes well, we could be looking at submitting the purchase or the actual to order the truck by either tomorrow or Thursday, which helps us meet that deadline by March to get classes kicked off. So again, that just shows the team effort that we have here at Mesalands, the great communication, everybody working together and asking questions ahead of time. It helps avoid those delays that we've had sometimes on the purchasing side. So thanks again for that and the continued team efforts. Also got an update on the scissor lift that we're purchasing for maintenance. We've had the need to change different light bulbs where everything's getting converted to LED to save energy. And we're also eligible for some rebate programs through XL Energy. So that scissor lift will hopefully be here, same thing, right after Christmas at the beginning of January when we come back for spring. Also wanted to mention that we are working, IT is working on installing additional security cameras, and we're starting at the Armory first. That's the first step of getting things moving there. And the reason we're not doing it everywhere, that was a high priority area because it lacks some areas, and we have multiple leases with different vendors at that location, and we just want to make sure that everything's secure. And that's another thing that I emphasize, that we want to have support from our local legislators as well. Mesalands was recommended for roughly $116,000 for security improvements, and we already have the plans laid out. We have the equipment that we need to get purchased. If that's approved to the legislative session, we'll revamp some of our older cameras. It's not that they're not working, they're fully functional, it's just we get to replace everything with new. We'll also go through and upgrade most of the office spaces and classrooms with electronic locks, so we have the capability to lock them down in Mercy with the touch of a button from a laptop. So just some improvements to security. And last but not least, I wanted to mention, just had a conversation with Senator Woods as well, as far as reauthorizing some funds that we were not eligible for before due to our audits being behind. We have roughly about, I think it's $79,000 that I'll be submitting the reauthorization form tomorrow in efforts to help with building improvements to the old armory. And I know the first step we've talked about, we need some more stable internet connectivity out at that building. So that's going to be the first step to that process. Is I've got a quote from Plateau to run fiber optic there. Right now we're currently having to beam wireless, I believe from building E to wind energy building over, and it's just not as stable. So with the increase of security cameras and these electronic locking mechanisms and everything else, you want a real stable communication and connectivity to the internet. So that's one of the things that would be expected from those funds and any other building improvements that would qualify within that. So with that, I will stand for any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Martinez?
I have one. When are they gonna replace the wind turbine?
So that's contingent on the funding from this upcoming legislative session. And in 2026, the even year, it's a GEO bond, general obligation bond funded, is what funds these projects through capital outlay. So unfortunately, if we're awarded in January, they have to take it to election in November to sell those bonds, or to ask to be able to pass that bond sale. And if that's the case, then they sell the bonds, and then we wouldn't be able to see the money here at Mesalands realistically till the fall of 2027. So my estimate, and based on what we've submitted as far as paperwork to the state, construction would start sometime, or at least the planning process, the design process, in the fall of 2027. Actual construction probably wouldn't be done until maybe beginning of 28. But again, it all depends when the money comes through, if it is approved. And then we also are still working with Senator Heinrich's office as well, in an effort to get funding from the congressional side as well, not just the state and local side. So realistically, we'd see funds hopefully in fall 2027.
Any other questions for Mr. Martinez? Thank you very much, appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
College. So we do now have a report from the faculty senate, or the staff senate. Is there any comments from the trustees? Mr. Sidwell?
I just want to say that I've really enjoyed my time on the board here. We rode it all the way down, and we're riding her back up. So and I'm very impressed with the team that we have here. The faculty and the staff have really pulled together. The whole college is one team, and it's exciting to see just where this is going to go. So I'll be on the sidelines. Thank you very much for everything you all do.
Well, I can say that all the years I've spent here, everything that this college has, I was involved in it. That man there was one of the greatest presidents that we ever had. And I worked under him for several years. Then the good Lord took him. We got another president that was also good, was Dr. Pfeiffer. She was in charge of education. And that lady was mean. She didn't take nothing from nobody. She straightened me out, and so I've been a good board member ever since. But I'm proud of what I've done here in this college, what I try to do in the community, but everything they done was nothing but lies. And I know the community don't like education, cause I tried education. That's why they got rid of me there. They got rid of the city manager, which he was a board member, and then I don't know what happened. He didn't get for education, period. But nobody told me nothing about why I done what I done. All they were worried about was my name. See, if we get rid of Sandoval, problem solved. Cause I was a pain on their side for a lot of years. I tried to get this town to move, they wouldn't move. I talked to them and they just blew me off. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you very much.
I hope the college makes it.
Any other comments? Concerns? All right, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So
Make-
moved.
So moved, or second.
Got a motion, second, roll call, please.
Mr. Primrose,
Yes.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Sitwell,
Yes.
and Mr. Sandoval.
Yes.
So moved.
A second.
A motion and a second, roll call please.
Mr. Primrose?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Box?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval?
Yes. There's, no correspondence. Those two things have already done. The holiday break is from the 19th to January 2nd. Quay Day, is, January 21st. If, everybody that can attend that because it's a good event. And our next meeting will be January 20th. And we'll have, have they said anything about, swearing y'all in? No? I was just curious.
No, we haven't seen it. Probably a phone call to Bill and Bud or
Yeah.
something.
If you'll talk to Ellen.
Okay.
And, I know we don't, the college doesn't start till the 5th, but whenever she can do that, she usually does that.
And sometimes it's at the meeting,
During the meeting.
first meeting,
Yeah,
she
so
does
right
that.
before.
That'll be the 20th, so we probably need to do that after the first of the year when she can.
Okay.
Yeah, she's volunteered to show up at meetings to do a swearing in the day of. So
Yeah.
there's always that option.
Anytime she can take charge, she will. I didn't.
You speak from experience.
Could you speak a little louder?
We know who runs the city county commission meetings.
Absolutely. I do not have any, board training, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, it's the last official act.
And
All right,
let Jimmy do the second.
Second.
all right, roll call please.
Mr. Primrose?
Yes.
Mr. Box?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.